Unnamed 471 with the 6-month tier 1 sub. Grant, stop posting that image.
What? It's the Astro Bot. I have it with the announcements, okay? It's going in like dozens of different Discords. What do you have against Astro Bot? Unbelievable. Wait, what? What? Hang on. Hang on. Ah! Hang on, I need to fix that.
Hello.
Hang on. Hang on, let me fix that. Wait, no, come on. Let me just... Bam. There we go, fixed it. I fixed it. Hi there, Hendrix. Hi there, Jason. Stop. You posted the spraying. It was an accident. It was an accident. It's funny, but it was an accident. It was an attack. You have no evidence anymore. Oh, you're in your VC right now. I could like go in there real quick and give you an apology like directly to your face. Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Ding dong habing. I'm actually no. I can't go in right now because right now I'm a little bit busy advertising, and I swear like I'm gonna have to double check. I'm gonna have to double check all the different Discords to make sure I didn't use that image. 1 minute. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, good news. That image was not used in any of the other Discords that I'm in. It was just yours. So it was an attack. Stop going all caps. I can read. I can read you in Comic Sans if I had to. I can read without the all caps. No, they say. Pork.
Bork.
How's it going, unnamed? You doing good though? Can we get a shout out for unnamed 471, please? They're the unnamed Yeen. Bjork ads. Does Bjork? I don't think Bjork is in my.
Bork.
Oh no, Bjork is. You're fucking EP.
Bork, 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 bork.
Hi there, Masonic. Welcome to the stream. I refuse to be considered cute. Thank you very much. Ding, dong, ha-bing, ha-dong. Bam, boom, bing, ding, 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 bang, ding. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, thank you for doing the shout out there. I think it was Jason. Yeah, it was Jason. Grant, handsome and huggable? No! My latest art will show you that I am not handsome and huggable. I have photo evidence. You know what? Fuck it. Let me wrong screen. Let me move over to this screen right here. Hi, oh, I forgot to even plug in my hand tracking. I am an idiot. I can't even properly wave to you. Yes, I am sexy though. I am sexy. I will accept sexy. Thank you very much. I agree. The zebra is sexy. Alright, so we got that. And then... There we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Hi, hello, welcome, welcome. I hope you're all doing alright. So yeah, if K is an abbreviation of OK, and some people call their grandfathers Pop, couldn't we say K-pop instead of OK Boomer? No, because K-pop is an entirely different problem than OK Boomer. Grants a problem should be taken back. I am not a problem. Observe. Look at this. Look at this amazing art. I've not posted this yet because it is Christmas themed, and there's only going to be Christmas shit during December. I'm not going to share, like, Christmas shit before December. And, like, look at him. Look at it. It's the Zeebs. Granted, he's in, like, really baggy fucking clothes right now, but don't let that worry. There's a part 2 to this image. So you better look forward. Like, you're going to have to keep an eye out for the part 2 of this image. Damn, big titties. Hope they're supported by a bra. Damn. Still going on about them fucking titties. What do I have you damn unnamed? What are you here for? Just all the time. Titties. What's on your mind, unnamed? Titties. That's all you think about. That's the only thing you think about is you want to touch them? No, don't touch the pecs. Oop, ding, ding, bong. I still need to, like, post in all the different, like, places of, like, hey, I'm live and I'm streaming because, you know, I'm not a big-time streamer yet. Ding, dong, ha-bang, ha-dong, ha-bam, bing. Yes, I make these noises, like, bing, bing, bong, bing, bing, bong, bing, bong. That's, this is when you know that I'm, like, having to, like, you know, verbalize the fact that, yes, I am doing things on the computer right now for you, sir. Ding, a ping, a bong, bang, ba-bam, a wabam, shabam. Thank you so much for the hyper himbo, though. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Give them some pexy squeeze. Can't wait to see the chimney joke. I don't think there is a chimney joke at the ready. We'll have to, like, look into that joke another day, I'm sorry to say. Alrighty. I think that's everywhere I am allowed to post and say, hey, I'm online and I'm streaming.
Hendrix demands you drink.
Alrighty. Good thing I have this bottle of water beside me. You had joke there. You had joke. They're saying I'm joking. Wait, what? Can't wait to see that chimney. I'm gonna be real with you. I thought you said you can't wait to hear about the chimney joke. And I was like, there is no chimney joke at the preparations. I am so sorry. Also, I'm gonna turn the lights on above my head because I don't know what the F is going on with my, like, tracking. I think it's having a hard time trying to take a look at my face while, you know, I'm not 100%, but yeah, blah, 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 blah. I think Flu is talking about your black Z-peen. You can't, Jesus, how did that get past the fucking, how did that get past the Twitch mod, like, auto mod stuff? Jesus. Alright, let's have a look. So, stand up here, and then, ow, okay. Doop, there we go. Oh, hang on, I need to do the, I accidentally, shit, ow. I need to fix my, where's the thingy-majiggy? No, not load avatar. I need to go to the node graph for the bigger, no, is it the bigger redeem, or is it the, there we go. So, extra himbo. So, extra himbo on, send signal. There we go. Alright. Hi. And then, ow. Why? Let's go, wait. Oh, Goon Corner. Oh my goodness. Who did that? Corey Coyote. Ah, okay, so that's who's responsible for that one. But yeah, hi everyone, welcome to the stream. Happy Wednesday for everyone that is here. It's probably Wednesday evening for some of you. Maybe it's Wednesday morning instead, but hello all the same. I hope you're having a wonderful time. I am going through work as per the usual. It is what it is, but I am like 16 days away from going through to, whatsamahoozies. Also, did I fuck up and have this thing, like, is the microphone going through my, give me a second, I need to go to the sound settings, and I need to double check that the microphone isn't no, it's once again going through the wireless headset. Stop doing that. It should be going to the Wavelink stream. It always should. Don't know why. I don't know why PlayStation 5 does this. Like, when it plugs into the PC, they're like, oh, we detect a new microphone. We should use this microphone. It's like, no, I already have a good microphone. Keep using that. Stop. I just wish there was a means for me to stop that little, like, thing where it's like, oh, stop doing the thing about the, setting the new microphone as the microphone to use. It's like, no, we don't need that. So, yeah. But yeah, so I will be on holiday in like a little over 2 weeks, which is going to be fantastic. When I go on holidays, I will also be allowed to have a break from my food diet, which is actually going to be really nice. I'm going to absolutely enjoy that because, you know, I'm not a huge fan of the OptiSlim diet. I much rather prefer OptiFast. That's, you know, I've already established that. But even, like, I can go on for the shake diet after the break for, like, 3 full months, which is fantastic. So I've got that going for me, which is honestly which is a huge positive in my book for the whole weight loss stuff. I am currently 126 kilograms right now. So let me just pull up the app and have, like, a quick reread of what that is numbers-wise. So, all right, so if I go to... All right, so ever since, let's see, total weight loss, I need to adjust that. So, ever since, October 14th was when I started, doing the shake diet for, like, weight loss and what have you. So, now we're into, like, you know, late November. I have so far lost 16 kilograms on the shake diet. Hyper Himbo and not even 15 minutes in. Hi, Benru. You can thank, who was it that put me in the Hyper Himbo? You can thank Hendrix. Hendrix was responsible for it. Actually, interestingly enough, I have not seen Hendrix in a while in my streams. I should have said hi more properly. And that's awesome. I know you've been struggling. Thanks. So yeah, so I've definitely, like prior to July, it was definitely like a very, like, you know, roller coaster of a thing, because I didn't use any, like, food apps to keep an eye on what I was actually eating. I didn't talk to a dietitian until October for, like, a plan of, like, oh, what should I do as far as, like, trying to lose weight and what have you. So going to them and getting, like, you know, we've gone, like a week or two over a month now, and it's, like, you know, a decent amount of weight loss, which I really appreciate. And I am now, at this point, and every day hopefully every day going forward this year, I am going to be the lightest this year out of all time this year, which is fantastic, because I think when I started this year, I was like 130 kilos or something like that. 131 or something. So to be under 100 and, like, not only, like, under 130 kilos, but also approaching getting under, like, 125 kilos, that means that I am lighter than I was the last time I was in the United States, which was last year in October. I think the lightest I was last year was like 123 kilograms. I don't think I'm gonna get as low as 123 kilograms before the year is over, especially since I'm gonna be on a break from my diet and what have you, like 2 weeks from now. But I'm gonna enjoy my break, is essentially what I'm getting at here, is that I'm not gonna, like, you know, go onto a huge fucking eating binge, however. I'm not interested in having, like, 3 to 4 hamburgers a day or some bullshit like that, or eating the entire cake that's still in my freezer from my birthday. But I wanna have, like, moments of being able to, like, so for example, there's a series of restaurants in Brisbane called Pepe's Mexican Restaurant, and apparently it's really good. I would love to go to Pepe's Mexican Restaurant. So I've talked with my sister to see if she's interested in Mexican food, because we normally meet up like once a month and such, and I want to meet up with her before I go to the States. So, and this is so for 2 reasons. Number 1, we get to try out the Pepe Mexican Restaurant together, which so then that way it's like, hey, I'm on my food break now, let's go for something delicious, and not something that's going to be like, you know, just me going to an all you can eat buffet. I'm more interested in, like, you know, getting a burrito or something like really spicy. And then 2, I'm able to give her the rest of my cake. So then that way, the cake that's been in my freezer since October isn't gonna be a fucking problem when I come back in January. Because I don't need I don't need half a cake left over. I should diet or work out, just being too depressed and distracted by distractions. I don't think I've been that first half, Hendrix, but I've definitely been that second half of being, like, distracted and what have you, and just sort of not in the mood for doing, like, you know, the huge amount of, like, you know, the shake diet I honestly love, because it's like, I make a purchase of OptiFast, I spend, like, 90 to $100, depending on how many, like, supplies I want, of the shakes, like the powder and what have you. I have a powder in the morning, I have a powder in the afternoon, and I have a powder in the evening. My breakfast, lunch, and dinner is sorted, and it's as simple as water mixed with powder, give it a good shake, and I'm done. It's fantastic. I love it. Like, I feel like, you know, when I go off the shake diet, it's going to be really interesting trying to go to, like, say, ready-cook meals, I think is, like, the next one I'm going to go to. And if I go to ready-cook meals, I'm going to be spending, like, twice as much for half the amount of time that it'll last me. Because, like, the shake diets that I'm going on right now, it's like I'm spending $90 to get, like, 24 days worth of meals. But if I go on to a ready-cook meal, I'll end up spending, like, $120 or more to get, like, a week or two of meals. I might be able to, like, extend it out a little bit by, instead of going for ready-cooked meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, I have ready-cooked meals for lunch and dinner instead, because there's a breakfast bar and there's a barista at my work, so I'm able to have, like, you know, cereal and coffee while I'm there. Oh, thank you, ad blocker, for telling me that you've blocked, like, you know, so many ads and you want money from me. That's not interested. I swapped out energy drinks with gamer subs. Ooh, that was a good one. I've actually, like, reduced the amount of soda that I've been drinking. So prior to the shake diet and what have you, I could easily down, like, 3 to 4 cans a day. It was very easy to do that. Nowadays, I'm more of a 1 or 2 cans kind of thing. Granted, I think today I was 3 cans of Pepsi Max. 1 in the morning, 1 at lunchtime, and then 1 before I left. But normally I am like a 2 cans of Pepsi tops. 1 in the morning and 1 in the afternoon before I head home. And I try not to drink any sugar-free I try not to drink any sodas until, like, after 4 o'clock. Or 6 o'clock, sorry. That is my intention, is to make it so that I'm not drinking any sodas between, like, 4 or 6. Because if I drink it, like, at 4, or if like my last one's at, like, 4 o'clock, then I want it done before 6. So then that way I'm only having, like, water and what have you in my evening, and, you know, I'm not doing anything to, like, my energy levels and what have you. So sugar-free energy drinks and sodas work too. Yes, so that was on the list of allowed things for me. Like, there's like all kinds of low-starch vegetables I could have, and sugar-free sugar-free sodas, not energy drinks. I can't have any energy drinks, but sugar-free sodas I was allowed, so diet soda. And then, yeah, so it's going to be interesting, like, having, like, the 2 weeks off from the shake diet, being able to eat whatever I want. Because there are some stuff that I want to eat, which is, like, you know, obviously, like, a very treaty sort of thing, such as going for McDonald's or Mexican, but then I'm, like, sort of more interested in, like, you know, doing, like, a pasta dish or eating a salad that's, like, you know, heavy on the sauces and what have you. So we'll see what I'm like, especially, like, prior to going to the United States, because once I go to the United States, I'm going to be surrounded by family that's, like, very health conscious and what have you, so there's not going to be, you know, that much there isn't going to be any bad habit eating during that. Vita Sport, Vita Fresh, sugar-free, 99% sugar-free. Juice powders are good too. Low to 0 calories and gives you all the juice tastiness without the sugar regret. That's interesting. I know V8 Power is a thing in Australia, and you can get one that's like a beetroot flavor. That's kind of on my list of I want to give that a try. But yeah, alright. Instead of going through more and more like discussions about food and such like that, because I can't have any of that for the next for like another like, you know, over 2 weeks, we're gonna go into video games, alright? We are gonna go through the platformer Astro Bot. This is a fucking nostalgia trip of a game. It just has you like, right now I'm in like a little costume as well for my little guy. Oh, I need to pause the music in the background. Alright. Okay, so we're... There we go. Alrighty, so we're doing like a chase. Alright, and then... Ow! We only have like 1 life or something like that, so... Oh, we have to start from the beginning. That is... Okay, so it can aim up and down. It's not a jump over. And yeah, I'm in a Sly Cooper costume. I have to do this in 1 run. Oh, goodness. Alright. Oh. Oh, Jesus, you... There we go. Yes! Alright, we got ourselves... Motorcycle Enthusiast. That's Jill Valentine! Alrighty. Alright, so that's one of them out of the way. I've already technically gone through this area for, like, the coins and, like, some of the... And, like, the final boss. I'm just running around picking up the last of the, you know, reference some characters and what have you. The little bots. Alrighty, so here's another one. Oh, Jesus. Okay, so... Ah. Nope. Oh. I had to like spin, but I kept forgetting to spin. Do you have the outfit for the boy? Yes. But I'm not too interested in him. I like Sly Cooper and Jack from Jack and Dexter. I'm glad there's no, like, life total, and it's not gonna be like, oh, hey, you need to start back from the beginning. Oh! Oh. So close. Oh, no, no! Ah, there we go. There we go. 3, 2, 1. And got him. Alright, so who is this? A protective android. I have no clue who this is. Persona 3? Oh, okay. Hi there, Velk Aegis. Welcome to the stream. Also, hi there, Omega Platinum. Welcome to the stream. I hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, night. Name's Grant. I have not played many of the PlayStation games that this thingy-majiggy was talking about. Alright, here's another one. Cut and Grind. I'm guessing, like, all these, like, symbol ones are, like, quote-unquote boss rushes. Some of the characters I understand the reference to, some of them I don't. Okay, that one's Leon. Oh, fuck. God damn it, little Incineroar. Stop looking my butt. Alright, so I'm gonna need a... Alright, so I can't hit them. Why do you do this to me? I was so confused by that one. There we go. Yeah, that one's Leon. Yeah, that's Leon. What are the... Rookie Cop. Alrighty then. Bam! Cookie for Hendrix! Alrighty, next one is Dashing Dillo. Alright, let's see what this is. Oh, that's another Persona character, I think. Oh, hello. Oh, I see. Okay, so... Oh, Jesus. Oh, I need my armadillo. There we go. Oh! It's Teddy. Oh, it's Persona 4, sorry. I thought it was like I thought it was Persona 3. Alright, here we go. Ding. Avoid the bumpers if I can. Oh, Jesus. No. Alright, so double jumping unfortunately gets you off your armadillo. Alrighty. Why are all of you posting your butt images? No! Ah! I now have to, like, focus now. I hope you understand this, chat. I am now in a focus mode. And why am I fucking up on this one? Come on. There we go, there we go. Stop staring at my butt. There's a very narrow hallway. There we go! Adorable shadow! Excellent timing there, Hendrix. Excellent timing. Hopefully you guys will have something else other than butt to share in the chat. Alright, I think... yeah, so that should be all the whatsamahoozy thingies. Yep. Yes, it is. Awesome, cool. Which means we can now progress to the snake one. Alrighty, so... alright. We need 100, which we have. Alright, so this is gonna be a boss one. There's only one, like, emoji guy. What are you... do I have you, like, stuck in emoji mode or something weird like that, or... there we go. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Chicken! Oh, okay. Where's the snake? Oh, there they are. Lady Venomara. Oh, I didn't know that was the intention. Oh, okay, I see. Oh, okay, so I need to punch it. There we go. Alright, so a lot of spinning. Ah! Okay, so I do... Oh, okay. Alright, now, so I have to keep being, like, higher and higher and higher. Alright. Well, that was a waste of a... There we go. Alright, need to be mindful of that. Oh, I see. Okay, so we're breaking the... We're breaking her fangs, so there's gonna be like another phase to this. 3, 2, 1. Not fair. Alright. Yeah! Oh no! We're on a chase! I survive! So that was like my second attempt. Hey, it's Nathan Drake! That button mashing is a cool emote. I do like that one. Alright, we now have... that one. Alright, Lady Venamara. Dude rating. I'm gonna be real, I'm pretty sure Nathan Drake was created because they didn't... like, Sony or whoever... Naughty Dog didn't have the right for Lara Croft, and they were like, fuck it, let's just make Nathan Drake. Let's just invent one. Here we go. Actually, fun fact, you know when you're playing through, like, Nathan Drake, it seems like he's, like, dodging all the bullets, or he can... You know when you, like, you know, there's, you know, fire going, like, gunfights going off and what have you? It's like, oh, the screen goes, like, a little bit red and nonsense. The reason for that isn't that he's getting shot, it's that he's pushing his luck. So, that's why, like, you know, when he finally, like, you know, runs out of luck, it's like, oh no, he actually does get shot, and it is a kill shot at that point. So, I thought that was cool, like, an explanation for why like somehow Nathan Drake is able to go through like however many different blah 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 like gunfights, and it's like, oh, he's just lucky, and that's what we're interpreting. Alrighty, so let's go this way. Also, nice Hive event Ender and Sir Dragon. This is some rather hopeful music. I quite like it. Alright, we got our first bot. Looting Virtuoso. There we are. God damn, 93% himbo rating. Good work, Hendrix. Alright, so there's a puzzle to that one, which is... Oh, it's probably just, you know, climbing up to the top there. Oh. There we go. Monkey! Hang on. There we go. Bork! Bork, bork, bork. We're going through all the Nathan Drake cool stuff. Okay, that one's Sully. I know who Sully is, at the very least. Alrighty. Bork, 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 bork. Ah! No nonsense Merc. No idea who that is. Not great for the environment, but great for me. I like how he swings his gun, like he spins it. Like, look at this. So if I empty it out, and look. I love it. And then this was the U-boat. This is... I forget her name. Ashley? I love that the leaves are all like, look at that. Look at the leaves. Alright, is there anything hidden? No. Alright, cool. So now we're going into the... Now we're going into a cave or something. Orc? Skulls! Oh, shit. Very stealthy. Hey, puzzle piece. Yeah, so we didn't get that middle one. We knew about that. Alrighty. Alright. There we go. Alright, so now we gotta figure out the... There's like a vibration thing you gotta feel. Another egg. There we go. Oh, yep. Obviously, there's another... Ooh, who's this? False Ancestor. Nathan? Never heard of him. Alright, I'm guessing that's Francis Drake. Or Sir Francis Drake. Great things have small beginnings, I think was like was their quote. And that's our brother. I forget our brother's name. I just know he's a brother. Uh-oh. We got places to be. There we go again. Okay, I can't run through them. I have to, like, actually face them off. Yep, this is a very Nathan Drake thing to do. Ah! Ow! I thought I had to push that. Here we go. Did it! Oh hey, it's the... whatever it is. I don't remember that from the Nathan Drake games, I'm gonna be real with you. Got it. The rescued ship part. A mothership's GPU. Ah, okay, so that's what it is. Pork. Honestly, love this game. I really do. I quite like it. Alright, now comes the part where we have to, like, rotate the thingy-majiggy around and do all kinds of extra non-gamer nonsense. Alrighty, so. Alrighty. Red, green, and blue. RGB energy. Good for you. And then we gotta give him additional batteries. Neat. Alright. And we're just gonna shove it into the third slot. Just you watch. It's just gonna be like, bam. And... three down, 2 to go. Also, I love that I'm on like a little memory card. Alright, we've grown from 140 to 153. And for whatever reason, the bear, it was like flossing. Another satellite! Alright, before we go to that satellite, we're gonna go play the lottery game. Hang on a second. I missed the PS2 memory card icons from games. They were pretty good. Hey, we got ourselves a car for Sully. The after-school band for the Android. Statue and cup for Leon. A map for What's-Mahoozy Girl. Symbolic door. Okay. Hey, a little elephant. A television. And a couch and TV. Nice. Try to find more special parts or puzzle pieces. Understood. Not gonna be a huge problem, though, as I just simply progress through this game. And then over here, we've got our costumes. Alright, so we've got this one here, which I believe is the standard? Yeah, so this is the standard costume. Over here is... we got the Lombax, which is okay. This one's my fave, although personally speaking, this one's my fave. And then, look, we got this one right here. Cow, red, panda, bear, see-through, skeleton, Parappa the Rapper. And then, yeah. Gonna go as the Yarnum guy next. Didn't. Alright. We got someplace to go. Alright, we need 90 easy. Okay, you need 200? Bork. Go. And we have rescued a flower. I do not understand that one. Also peace. And we unlock what I think is the safari, whatever that means. The safari is now open. Nice. Oh my god, that was... Ah! Can I run? Punch the Lombax while I can. Oh, I rescued the cutest little predator. Look at him. If I ever get a PS5, this will be the first game I play. This is, like, it is a full-price game, I will be real with you, but other than that, it is, frankly, such a fun game. Ow. Fuck you. Alrighty, Alright, what's their move? There we go. Alright, a few more bots rescued. Ah, and that's how they would have wanted me to get up there. Alrighty then. And then... Alright, another bot rescued. Alright, so I need 200 for this one. Not gonna happen. 90. This is gonna be an easy one to do. Oh, it wants me to lift. Okay, fine. There we go. Whee! Just a little pirouette. Whee! That way we have a way to get back. But really, that's not going to be how it works. Bam. Did it! Another piece of the puzzle! Oh yeah, there was a game. There, amazingly enough, this is a platform game, and then it just throws mini games like, oh, here's an Ape Escape, here's a God of War, here's a Uncharted set level. It just throws fucking levels in and shit, just for the funs of it. So yeah. All right. Next nebula. Hieroglyph Pyramid. Alright, let's see. Is there anything I need to grab here? 1, 2. There we go. Oh, hello. You were in a sarcophagus. That's not ideal. Screw you. No! That damn use. Oh, I can't hit them from the front. Do I just have to avoid him the entire time? I feel like the Jack outfit fits the spin attack. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so we probably need to, like, fly over him or something? Nope. That didn't do a good job flying over him. And I failed on that one, too. Thank you for the peck dance, Gesanoa guy. There we go. And then if we do this... Alright, that's number 2. Oh, there we go. Terrible. The peck dance gave a morale buff. I don't think that's how it works, but I thank you for the peck dance. Thank you for the peck dance all the same. Oh, hello. I'm pretty sure that's Lara Croft. Oh. Okay, I see what I need to do. Alright, did I... So how's it going, Noah guy? Grant is cooking. Oh yeah, I'm cooking. Alright, and then boom. Fourth. Nah, that so he doesn't have anything there. That's for an ability, which we'll probably need. Yeah, it looks like it's for an ability. Alright, let's have a look. What is the ability? Oh, Ah, okay. Smash Legends and Omega Strikers are surprisingly funnier than you expect. Oh, than you expected. I have no clue what either of those are. Okay, so I can do the smallest of fucking jumps. Ah. Bonk. There we go. That's another one of our guys. Alright, so we got 3 more of those to go, and only one more is like a special breed sort. Whee! Nice. Oh, okay, so I'm missing a puzzle piece then. Interesting. Oh, hello. Whee! A hole in one! Bam. There we go. Smash Legends is a platform fighter with a MOBA angle. Oh, okay, okay, okay. I see what you're talking about. I get it now. So the game that you need a trio of choices or have 6 players in a custom lobby to actually have fun. Okay. Blow you up. Blow you up. This. Get some money to go off of. Oh, okay, okay, okay. So. Time to find that missing puzzle piece. Nope. Here. Oh, I see it. I see what I need to do. Alright, so I need to boom, boom, and then head over to here. Break this open. There we go. That's one of the missing bots at the very least, but not the puzzle. Oh my god, look at the gems. Amazing. Alright. Oh yeah, because that bridge was what collapsed previously. Oh, hang on, maybe... Point? No, not pointing that way. That will send me back as far as I know. Oh, I see what I need to do. Boom. Sending me to an entirely different spot. There we go. And we got ourselves... First star. I have no idea who that is. Okay, it's about 1 AM here. Gonna go to sleep. Not to worry, Hendrix. Thank you so much for coming along. I greatly appreciate it. Good to see you again. I hope you have a wonderful time. Alrighty, so that's all of them. We're missing one puzzle piece, but I'll be real with you. It's not the end of the world. Considering, like, knowing our luck, it's, like, gonna be, like, probably in that hole for all I... Actually, is it in that hole for all I know? I don't think I was... Hang on. No, that was just to jump up, I see. And then that was... And then there's our owl. Oh, hello. Okay, that was a lucky one. Alright, I bet you the thingy-majiggy is... Never mind, I thought it was gonna be there, but it wasn't. Where would it... So it was here that we did the spinny thing to get one guy. And then... There. There. Maybe it's this thing? Probably this thing. And then there's this hole. Oh! Okay, I think I confused the holes. I got confused with that hole from another hole. Alright, now we've got all the puzzle pieces, we've got all the characters. Let me just spin around. go. Ding, dong, a bang, and... No! Oh. Alrighty, hang on. Let's try that again. The other boxes where you commented about your ability? Maybe. Okay, so I had to keep into the... I had to keep to the form in order to keep the... Oh my god, look at these fucking gems! Look at us! Treasure beyond our wildest dreams, and we can't take them with us! God damn it! Look at this place. Amazing. Trying to be shifty set here. Trying to be a little shifty. Alright, we got that one done. Getting ourselves... Ah, I see. I missed a portal was why. Alright, let's go for bubbling underwater. We're gonna go for the Finding Nemo looking level. Ow. There we go. Ah, okay. Underwater. I see. Eh! I'm so slow! There we go. Alright, and I'm guessing this turns us into... Oh, we got a penguin on our back. Hey, and we get to swim fast. Hey. Alright, so the penguin can't help us above water, it seems. And all kinds of bananas. Bananas! Bananas! I can't stop thinking about the minions explaining why they followed Napoleon Bonaparte, and then it's just Kevin Spacey from the fucking Baby Driver going, bananas. Bananas. You know what? I'm gonna put that as a... If I had like way more like, you know, boosts going off in my server, I would definitely put more sounds in. And that will definitely be one of them. It's just him going bananas. I'm gonna look for that meme, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to look for the bananas meme with Kevin Spacey saying it. I can't get it out of my head right now. I wanna get that video. Can someone look for it on YouTube or on TikTok, please? Like Kevin Spacey just in the dark, lights come on, and it just goes bananas. Whee. Oh, there's so much to explore. Oh, that's the last puzzle piece. Oh, we are so far behind in terms of, Oh, hello! Oh no, we got Vored again! What is it with PlayStation and voring us, honestly? Who the fuck are you? Oh, wait, I know this one! That's the whatsamahoozy, the cats from Monster Hunter. Look at him. This one is from Monster Hunter World in particular. Alright, so does this mean I have to, like, just leave? I think it is. I think I just need to leave. There we go. There we go. Companion number 2. Ding, dong, dong, dong. Alright, so that's one of them broken. And then I can break this side. I can break on through to the other side. Oh, cool. What's this? Ah, pirate. Nice. Gonna screenshot that. Alrighty, let's see. Are there any other fellas down here? Not from the looks of it, so we're gonna go back upwards. There we go. Oh, hello. Oh, it's the Octopus Dad. I know the Octopus Dad. He's from the game with the octopus, and you pretend to... You're an octopus pretending to be a dad. And then lo and behold, it turns out you are actually a dad, because, you know, it's not about being an octopus or an oct. It's about what's in your heart. Alright, there we go. And then we're gonna go here. Alright, so this is where we were previously, so... screw you. Dolphins! There we go. Oh, wait, no, we didn't do it right. Alright, hang on, and... Whee! Did it! Breaks another arm of the weird giant fish. Monkeys! Monkeys are they're fishing for bananas. Bananas. What are they fishing for? Bananas. Oh, you bastard. There we go. Alright, so... Okay, there we go. Alright, where is the next... probably down here. Yeah, looks like it. There's like some weird hole here. Got ya. Alright, I'm just 2 remaining, and that's all the what's-my-koozie fellas. Alrighty. Yep, I think I can see one of them in there. Let's see. There we go. And then we dig. Oh! Oh, okay, we get all the puzzle pieces. That's nice. But where is our... Where are the rest of my boys? Oh, cool, we start up here. Plan. Go, and then... Yep, Starfish is freed. Which opens the gates. There we go. Alright, that means there's one missing, and he's somewhere very early into the game. Or it's gonna be someplace stupid, like right over here. Okay, maybe not right over there, but... missing one. Oh, there he is. I see him. I see him now. And that's the last one. That's all the bots rescued. Whee! Did it. Oh no, the Octodad is flossing! Another 100 points. Lovely. Lovely, 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 lovely. Oh, and that is actually seen as a completed level. Nice. Alright. Balloon Breeze is next. Are you guys picking up on all the different PlayStation references in here? Go. Oh, hello. Oh, it's a trowel. Okay. I was wondering whatever the fuck it was. There we go. So that's one. Oh, hey, it's the robot guy again. Thanks, big man. Oh, hang on. There we go. Okay, so I can't overstuff it. Ugh, terrible. Alright, here we go, here we go. He got inflated. Alright. Come on! There we go. New puff of air. New puff of air. Brilliant. And now you. Okay. Oh, look at all this greenery. Ow. You got a name? Oh, hey, wait, hang on. Let's try and deal with this worm thing and maybe we'll get something for it. Sorry, my friend. Oh my goodness, I missed quite a number of them. This is not an easy locale. Oh, yeah, of course there was gonna be someone in there. Yeah, I'm missing quite a few. And that's probably... Oh, second last, okay. So probably was just a lot of quick succession ones, perhaps? Alright. It's not the end of the world, honestly, with this one. Oh, it's one of those blows. It's not explicitly a blow, it's just, you know, the sounds of a blow. Pain. That is some very resilient plastic, I'm gonna be real with you, if it didn't puncture from those. It looked like it did, but it didn't. Darn yous. And he would most likely be the last, so the two were like from earlier. Okay. And spin. Oh, hello. And bam. Not all of them, but it's okay. We can take a few losses after getting like, you know, 100 like all the bots rescued in like the first two. Darn you, bird. How dare they? Alrighty, and I imagine this one's gonna be like, oh, we can't see it yet. It's gonna be more than 100. I bet you it's like gonna be like 180 or something. Comet! Bam. There's a thingy. Bam. Alright. Retro Rampage number 4. Alright, let's see. What Street Fighter-esque game characters are we gonna get here? Alright, chicken, once again. Ow, you darn chicken. There we go. Oh, who's this? Malleable motorist. Dreams of becoming a Gran Turismo pilot. No idea who that is. I'm not Haven't got the faintest idea. So, okay, some of them are obvious, like the Uncharted and the God of Wars. Others, not so much. Alright. And then we've got this fella here. Oh, but let me break that. And that gives us a Lost Dimension thing. Alright. Crumble Rumble! There we go. Alright, I don't exactly have a solution for that one. There we go, and who are you? A board member. The opposite of a mountain climber. Again, another one that it's just like, I have no fucking clue who you are. Alright, let's see what the Lost Dimension gives me. Actually, hang on a sec, there's another thingy-majiggy here. No, okay, nothing there, which means we check out the Lost Square Void. It goes in the square hole. There we go. Cool. Nice, nice. Oh, so this makes it so that we get like square challenges and what have you. Okay, let's have a look. Where are the square challenges going? Alright, so let's check out this one. Splashing Sprint. Oh boy. Ah, okay, I think I see what I need to do. Alright, so... I need to be mindful about the amount of spray I've got. And the fact that there's spike balls in the way. Ah! Fuck you! avoid the frog missiles. Avoid the spikes. Real boss rush nonsense here. Okay, so I need to get rid of the mud with the ducky. Okay. That was a bit faster than normal. Also, and I just touched the lava because it's like caught on the edge. And I didn't jump. Chat, I am doing my best. I am so sorry. I'm doing what I can. It doesn't help that you only have, like, you have to go through this in, like, one go. And now I'm fucking up in earlier places. Yeah, we're just gonna avoid the enemies because... And I jumped too high for that one, so... Can I take the lava slowly, I wonder? Did not take it slowly at all, and I fucked up. Come on, Grant. No! Oh, you bastards! Didn't jump quickly enough. That one I'm not a huge fan of. Oh, it's lava! That's why it's... Oh, blah. And the one time I was able to get past the fire breathers. Oh, if I catch one bit of mud, I am like toast. Oh, nope. Ah. How? Yeah. Bitch. You are unreliable, Rubber Ducky. Why are you such an affectionate pool toy? Blah. 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 Literal tweaking right now, Chad, I'm sorry to say. Pain. But I refuse to give up on a level I just got into, okay? This is a platformer. I can do platforming. Do I even game? I do, Big Joe Sweeney, I do. You try and do this fucking nonsense. Oh, no. Ah! Yeah. Alright, hang on. Here we go. And thing. You have no idea how much death has happened in this level. Alright, here we go. Whoa, whoa, oh, no. Break you. Jump across. Break you. Across you. And... there we go. Alright, take a moment. Oh, no, 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 no! Oh, there we go! Fuck you! There we go! Oh! I almost fucked up on that one there. Yes! Who the fuck are you? Who is this? Reliable narrator. They write a heck of a letter. I have no idea who that person is. It does look manic. Look, the other platforms were fine. It's when you go to like these like indicator ones, like these, that they're very hectic. You have to like run through them in one run. Otherwise, you have to start back from the beginning. So here's another one. Oops. Damn it. Did not time that one right. Alright, here we go. Let's try this again. There we go. There we go. See what I mean? Anyway, how is your evening going, Big Joe Sweeney? Oh, there we go. Up, you. Okay, so I have to keep pushing and then I can do a jump. Alright. Didn't even pay attention! There we go, there we go, there we go. Won't, don't. Watching my mate play cricket and you're on the phone, your game got forfeited? Oh shit. I'm sorry I'm sorry the cricket game, I was about to say football game, Jesus. I'm sorry the cricket game got forfeited. Sorry to hear that. But, hey, at least you get to watch one of my streams. Bam, and then boom. And then... Yeah! Alright, here we go. So much trial and error, and then when you finally, like, you know, get one of these... When you finally get one of these done, it's like such a stress-inducing, like, you got to the end. And people are just like, I remember watching these and I'm like, surely they're not that hard. They are. They are that hard. They don't see the trial and error that happened to get to here. Alright, and then here, there. There we go. Oh, no, come on, come on. Yes, and there we... Speedrun Twitch. Speedrun Twitch games. No. You will not find me speedrunning. I might, if a game annoys me, I might learn about a speedrunning strat, but I'm not gonna speedrun. Alright, let's go for two more of these. Let's go for two more of these, and then we'll go back to a level, so then that way you'll have an understanding of the... Oh, hello. Oh, shit. Oh, fuck! Oh, oh. Alright, this is gonna be a bit of a tizzy. Okay, it slaps me to the side, which is a little annoying. I have to, like, stop and wait. Oh, Jesus, they make the platforms tiny now! What the... what? When? Since when? Oh, no. Gosh darn it. What, that mouth? Yep, no, when I get frustrated, it's just gonna be noises. Just like the... Oh, no, I let go of the jump. Okay. Oh, you! Oh, you know what you were doing there, didn't you? You knew exactly what you were thinking of, game. I'm sorry that I'm not able to make colorful commentary beyond, like, noises from, what's-a-mahoozy, the dude from the Wild Thornberries. This is taking so much concentration, you could not believe. Oh, I was on the edge of that. Well, if anyone was wondering, like, why don't platformers get harder? It's like, they can, it's just, you know, the popular ones weren't the hard ones. The popular ones were the mascots. There we go. There we go. And I have no clue. Racing model hitches a ride when she's down a hill. Real Racing Roots 98. Oh joy, a Canadian. Alright, I am amazed that I was able to go through that as quickly as I was able to. Maybe it's because I have to, like, you know, perform for people now? Alright. Last one. Boing Bazinga. God damn you, Sheldon Cooper, doing a fucking Bazinga. Just forever, irrevocably ruining my... Oh, I know that one! Ow. Alright, this is one of the easier ones. Moving from a shuffle to a jog. Yep. There we go. Oh, Jesus! Why is that one so fast? Oh my gosh. Alright, ding to and then leap you. Alrighty. That is Kazuma Kiryu. Tattooed dragon. Yep, that's Kiryu-chan. Nice. Alright. We dealt with the speedruns in this level. We can now go to something a little bit calmer. Something just a teensy bit calmer. Teensy bit calmer now. An entirely new level. This one here. Spooky time. Ooh, spooky time. Oh, bird. Bird. I almost hit that bird. Ah! Screw you, pumpkin. And do it. There we go. Alright, what's in the chest? Oh, hey, it's the time thingy-majiggy. Alrighty, Oh, oil. Of course they would. There we go. Alright, first bot rescued. There we are. But yeah, like, this is a normal pace of Astro Bot. Oh, hello. Break you. Bot number 2 rescued. Like, sometimes they'll just give you random fucking gimmicks in the platforming. Ow. Yep, I needed more time. These guys are a little too fast. Oh, that's, Chris Redcliffe, I think. Or something Redcliffe. Alright, so there's a giant fish goes there. Look at that!
It's Kalua paid me to say that he can't lift his big heavy weight.
Ow! No, I can't! Not when you drop it on my fucking head! Never gonna spot for Kalua, ever. He is just gonna... Oop. Oh, it's a spooky thingy. Lift with your head. Noted. Alright, hang on a second. Also, hi there, Kalua. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're doing it. What is with that butt? What butt? What butt? There is no butt. Bam, and then boom. Bam. Oh, bam. There we go. Another bot rescued. Oh, hello. Actually, bam. Hey, okay, I knew I was on the right track. There we go. Another puzzle piece. Excellent. We're doing good on placement and what have you. Hi, Zebra. Zebra leg looking mighty good today. Alright, you can't eat the zebra leg, but I'll have you know that I'm still doing well with my weight loss journey. I am down to 100...
That leg, boy.
No. I am down to 126 kilograms, today. 126.4 or 3? Oh. 1, 2, bam, boom. I just love, like, being able to do that, where it's, like, turns into, like, sort of like the Flash, or, Quicksilver, where it's like, if I could save time in a bottle. Oh, I made it just in time. Bam, boom. There we go. Make a man punch himself in the dongus. Honestly, how come, like, that's not a thing that we've seen the Flash do? Where he gets a man who's about to punch him, and it just, like, punches himself in the gut. That would be good. Oh, no, 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 no! Ooh. Got it. Alrighty, next one. Oh, no! Ow! So, yeah. You know what I want in a Flash movie? I want Grant Gustin. I want that fucking genius of a man. Oh, no, you fucking don't. Oh, you bastard. I want Grant Gustin, alright? Fuck Ezra Miller, alright? Ezra Miller, like, we thought he was gonna be pretty cool because of The Fault in Our Stars and shit like that, and then he just terrorizes half of Hawaii and shit? I want Grant Gustin, because even when the Flash TV show had, like, one or two, like, crap, like, moments and shit like that, it was never because of Grant Gustin. He was an amazing Flash, and we would not complain if James Gunn was just like, you know what, we already got a good Flash, let me just use him and make a movie out of it. They've done the whole multiverse thingy-majiggy and, like, resetting the timeline 2 or 3 times. It's not far-fetched. Oh, hey, we were able to make it. That's good. There we go. And then... Oh. Alright. Bam. Absolutely wrong. Alright, here we go. Let's try that again. So we can't take the orb with us. Alright, there we go. Bam. Oop. Yep. There we go. And we got ourselves... I think that's Claire Redfield? You would love a Deadpool Flash? If we were somehow gonna get, Marvel DC shit again, maybe. But we ain't, unfortunately. And 1, 2. Just punch him in the dick. Twist his dick! Okay, I need a plate. Alright. Yoink. 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 Ah, you... So, yeah. But yeah. Oh, speaking of being proud of me, Kahlua, you know how you can be proud of me even more? Is if you helped contribute to a featured throne that I have. Look at that. I'm trying to get a treadmill. It's a treadmill that can hold my dump trunk of an ass. It's able to hold 145 kilograms, and it's able to go, like, you know, 5 or 8 kilometers an hour. It's really great. I'm not going to be dressed up like the girl in the picture, though. Stop trying to put bras on my throne. It ain't happening. So, yeah. Also, hi there, Ingriel. Hang on. Ingriel Eliamori. Hi. Roses are red. This one's for the road. I came to your stream, dropping a B2 nuclear payload. Now! Lol, how much for that to happen? So, the way throne items work, Big Joe Sweeney, Big Joe, BJ Sweeney, oh, Joe, Big Sweeney, Big J Sweeney, BJ Sweeney, Joe. Let's go with Joe. The way it works, Joe, is that throne allows you to, like, you know, contribute to, no, the bra thing. It's because of these massive fuckaroonies, and there's, like, one friend I have, unnamed, who is a yeen, who is a titty boy, who definitely uses bras and shit, and they do a joke of just like, you need a bra. I don't need a bra. The day I need a bra is a very problematic day for me, personally. Alright. Oh, that goes quicker. Alright, so... Whoop. There we go. Grab you, and that's all the boss race. I thought you were asking about the throne thing. Like, you know, how does someone, like, you know, give you throne shit? And it's like, well, the treadmill you can't, I haven't seen anyone, you know, decide to contribute like, you know, hundreds of dollars at one go or anything like that. So what I've done is I've made it so it's an item you can contribute. So yeah, I've done a small contribution here and there because of the fact that, you know, I'm not spending as much money as I usually do because I have stopped eating as often. I get like shakes and what have you. I'll have like a diet break when I'm on holiday though, which is going to be absolutely fantastic. But yeah, one of the things I kind of want to go for, and I'm hoping like it would be of interest to viewers, is a treadmill. Because the intention I have with the treadmill is, hang on a second, and bam, there we go. 1, 2. Oh, no. Okay, there we go. 1. Oh, hello. No, don't you fucking ow. Alright, well, I got all the puzzles, so. Cookie for Big Joe Sweeney. Here's your cookie. First cookie of the stream for you. Or it's your first cookie on the stream. Alright, bam. And I was an idiot. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Oh, damn. Alright. Oh, you! Angry FaceTime! And that was a terrible time to hit pause. Anyway, running away. Bye-bye. Not to worry. Sorry that your, cricket, match got cancelled. Hope you have a wonderful time at the cricket grounds. Yes! Just in time, Big Joe Sweeney. Did it! Did it? Ow. Darn yous. Alrighty. So we accomplished that. I think that one's also a completion because we got like... Yeah, it is. Oh, 150. Okay, I thought it was going to be like 180. We are totes magoat fine with this one. Bam, 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 bam. Alright. This one is a boss platformer. Yum, yum, yum. And I'm just like moving my controller left and right. Alrighty. Hey, it's the time stop one again. Nice. Punch all of you. There we go. Well, good thing the... Yep, save point there. Alrighty, this is where the boss battle is. Mecha Leon. There we go. right in the uvula. I think it's called a uvula. Yep. Alright, there we go, and... And then we pull this. Alright! We got that done. Time for sippies! Thank you for the sippy, Sir Dragon. The Carlton. What the hell? Also, I'm wearing a costume, by the way. Ingriel, I forgot to ask, how is your day going? Done. Alrighty. And we now get whatever the fuck this is. Going Loco. Never heard it. I have no clue what this thing is gonna be. Like, I legit do not have a clue. I got an idea or something? Okay. We'll give this a try. Oh no, are you kidding me? It's a motion game? Alright, hang on. Loco Roco? So you know what this is. I have not heard of this. Alright, Alright, so that's one. That's one bot rescued. There we go. Ah! Oh no. I should have. Hang on. Let me restart that level. So you know what this game is, or you understand the references. Is that it? Is that it, Jack? All right, and skip that. What is this? What is this? Okay, so I was only missing a puzzle piece, not like a character. Is this a kid's game? This feels like a kid's game. There we go. A tomato. Jack, you're gonna need to explain this to me. How's the bot treating you today? Astro Bot? Right now we're at like the second last of the regions. As you can see here, we're going as what you said was Loco Porco or something? Like, never heard of this one before. Oh. There we go. Okay. I have to like use motion controls to get this thing. Alright, and that's the last one. Cool. Same devs as Patapon. Never played Loco Roco, but Platypon was your brain rot during PSP. Finished work, but you missed 2 buses. Ah, shit. Was it the public transportation fault, or hi there, Vulpecula? For whatever reason, Uncharted didn't get anyone's interest. Resident Evil references didn't get anyone's interest. Lara Croft didn't get anyone's interest. But fucking Loco Roco got people's interest for some reason. Oh, goodness. Ah. Also, hi there, Vol. Welcome to the stream. How is the Netherlands? Loco Roco looks happy, though. Yeah, you're right about that. Alrighty. We must now repair this machine. The Mechanicum Imperium is now in session. Ah! Alrighty. There we go. Alright, fan's running. Alright, so this is the CPU. Uh-huh. Da 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 da. So, we got the RAM, we got the system storage, and we've got the GPU. We now have the CPU, or the cooler, and now we're gonna have to get the final piece. Yippee! Ah, 2 away from 200. That would have been good. Oh my god, and then there's a massive puzzle piece for whatever the fuck that is. Oh, another satellite. Is that Lady Maria and the Hunter? Yes! You can wear costumes. So, before... Let me head over to... So, a few things. Oh, yeah, so Lara Croft wants something. That's fine. And there's an animal reserve. So, let me just head... Let's head into the... What do you call it when it's just a... This thingy-majiggy? There's a name for it. It's not gotcha. It's something else. Dinosaur. A race car. Hey, that's for the Monster Hunter cat. Nice. You're finally free for 4 days from work, and now you get to relax. You're deciding on whether you want to get some gaming stuff and accessories or a Steam Deck. Ooh. Do you have a PC that's like, you know, like fairly decent, like made within the last, like, you know, 2 to 4 years? Because if you have a gaming PC already within the last 2 to 4 years, the Steam Deck is really only worth it if you have, like, yeah, you have a fairly decent one. The Steam Deck is a bit of a, like, if you find yourself traveling a lot or, you know, away from your computer for, like, a good amount of time, stop giving me trash. There we go. Mountain server. For cool boards only. Like, if you find yourself traveling a lot, then maybe the Steam Deck would be good, but the fact that you have, like, a pretty decent, like, PC means that you're probably better off going for, like, accessories or games. Although, do be aware that we are going into Black Friday, so there might be discounts for something essentials. Who knows? Alrighty, now that we've gone through all that... can I skip all this bit? I don't need the... I don't need this bit about, like, oh, look at all the people that now have stuff. If you have money that is burning a hole in your pocket/wallet, might I suggest checking out my featured throne item? Hint, hint. Alright, look at this. We have all kinds of costumes. So let me just put on the generic one. There you go. So this is what I know. So we got Fungi. We got Monkey. We got Racer. We got Jack. Sly. Some Team Ico one. Gravity Rush. Parappa the Rapper. Hunter. Gold. Pirate. Cow. Panda. Bear. See-through. Skeleton. You have to remember to soak your cup later. It tastes like dust and spiders. How about you wash your cup instead of, you know, soaking it? Or are you saying soaking it because, like, even after a wash it's still doing something? Yeah. So it looks like I'm missing like one what's-a-mahoozy costume here. So it's probably gonna come from, like, a character I've not yet unlocked. I personally like Jack. My favorite is honestly Jack, out of all these. It looks cool. Alright, now let's go to the new place. Oh yeah, look at this. Alright, let's see. What is the Monster Hunter cat thing? Is it Palico? Is that their name? We need 120 people. Come on, lift. Lift with your back. Lift with all the muscles are in your back and your hands. There we go. Okay, so we're pushing. Push! Palico. Okay. So yeah, so we got a Palico. Get our egg. And the egg is... Oh my god! I have no idea what that is. So yeah, there's a lot of, like, character references in this one. Because, you know, that's half the point of this game. Bam. And then there's, like, terrible ones like that. Alright. I like that you keep having stragglers lagging behind. Yeah, they have like a very specific spot, so it's like no one's like taking that one for them to take the easier route. Instead, it's like, nope, I've got my designated spot, you don't. Alrighty, here we go. Big jump. Alright, that's 200 robots rescued. Nice. Alrighty. Yeah, I've got 150. Hop on, everyone! Oh my god, look at them, like... Egg. Oh, that's from... that's from The Last Guardian. Did I get my stuff back there? Whee! Huh. Oh, I see, okay. Climbing up here, and... Oh, okay, I see what they want me to do. Oh, 250? Are you crazy? There we go. Alright, how many do you want at this one, then? Oh, 120? Easy. I was the last one. Great camera, just showing like 150 fucking robots all cramped together. I like the little like tiny vibrations it makes mechanically. There we go. Alright, 205 robots now. Originally, I would have asked why you prefer a zebra with the oversized muscles. Then I saw the tag Australia and thought, oh, probably even zebras train in there to kill everyone. Yes. Everything in Australia is trained to kill you. The spiders are bred to kill you. The snakes are bred to kill you both by poison or by strangling. Even the people. Yes, the people are also here to kill you. There isn't nice Australians. They're all sarcastic and mean. You go on a bus, you get stabbed. You go on a train, you get stabbed. It isn't a coinky-dink that they keep making jokes about... What do you call spiders? We in Europe call it dogs. The dogs will kill you too, by the by. We have a thing called dingoes. Go to a furcon, you get stabbed. Yes. Now, whether or not you get stabbed by another furry or you get stabbed by someone that hates furcons, that's anyone's guess, I'm gonna be real with you. Feather flutter. I thought spiders were drinks. Different kind of spider. But they can kill you as well. You can get diabetes. He's so mean! Alright. Ginny of the lamp. Or is it DJing of the lamp? 1, 2, 3. Oh, god damn you. Alright, let me see. Is that gonna let me... Yes, it is. Okay, cool. There we go. Gotcha. Ow. Flattened to a paper. Dogs won't kill anyone. They can't kill anyone if the spider catches them. Okay, yeah, but if the spider... Point is, everything wants to kill you in Australia. Be very mindful when you come here. Monkey! Who the fuck are you? Galactic Pirate, Seeker of the 7-Star Swords. No idea. Nah, I wouldn't do one step in this con if I wouldn't even last 5 minutes. Yeah, you're right, you wouldn't. You think you know that one? Can't wait to hear what you think it is. Ah! Excuse me. Oh my goodness. I'm so tired. So sleepy. So tired. There we go. Robot number 2. Cool. Don't terrorize the elephant. Nice. Oh, hey, there's a little thingamadiggy here. Cute. Thank you, monkey. You open the door. Thank you. Oh, hang on. I'm missing a puzzle piece. I need to get that. Personally didn't play Rogue Gallery, but you know your brother did, and the game broke at the end. Ah, okay. Break everything! It's a genie! It's an evil genie, though. That's not great. The monkey just holding on for dear fucking life there. Gravity rush. Oh, I'm missing a bot. Damn it. Bulldog, let's go! Only thing I could hope that even the spiders know about German association with bureaucracy and think they have a formula after attacking a German. Ah, got you. There we go. There we go. Alright, so I'm missing one robot. Not the end of the world, honestly. If there is any mod, please don't allow the original. It's good that the word is on the bad word filter. Yeah, noted. Understandable. Ah. Alrighty, so one more robot, and it's gonna be a special looking robot as well, which is gonna be nice. Bastard! Oh, you cookie for Munch! Here's your cookie. Are you? Defender of Herxavile. Looks like Mixie if they were a little more like gothy instead of red. You love the doggy jetpack. The doggy jetpack is rather fun. Hi there, Yun. She's from Gravity Rush. Ah, okay. And time to face the Jin. Ah, okay, so... Why do they give me bosses without the extra lives, honestly? And we locked him away. And we're not back in the village. We are entirely someplace else. Okay. How do we get up there is the question. Oh, wait. I bet you it's because of that thing, isn't it? Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay. No. Oh. Okay, so maybe... Alright, I think I know what I need to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... Damn it. So, maybe the plane is gonna help? 1, 2, 3. I know what it wants me to do. Rip Jafar. Yeah, rip. Rest in peace, Jafar. Ah, goddamn you. Okay, good. And... Interesting. Giving us... Oh, I think I know what this is. Nice. This gives us the, secret portal. How does John Does Overtime doing? Hi, Suction Hero! Fancy name for a vacuum cleaner. Hippo! Let's go. Robot 1, saved. Oh, Psycho Mantis! Or what looks to be Psycho Mantis. There we go. Oh wait, no, that's not Psycho Mantis. That's Bob or something? His name is like something generic. Hunk or something. I miss the time when such games were standards on the PlayStation 1. No big graphics or cinematic scenes, just a little fun game with an extra portion love in the details. Yeah, I know a lot of people want those kinds of things again. I know I do too. And what's more is, like, this definitely feels like that sort of demonstration of, like, you know, a mascot platformer that's, you know, paying homage to previous games. But the fact of the matter is that it is doing a lot of extra work in the background to do, like, you know, the high amount of, like, you know, particle effects and objects rendered in and what have you, doing fancy graphics. All of this as, like, small nods to, hey, remember this game on the PlayStation 1? Hey, remember this game on the PlayStation 2? Or, hey, remember this game on the PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4? Or even PlayStation 5 that you're currently playing? So many of the games referenced in here, you can't even, like, play on the PlayStation 5 either? Or, you know, like, they're not exclusives or anything like that, so... There we go. Great googly moogly let Papa stuff his... Hi there, Kenny. Welcome to the stream. You doing alright? There we go. Ooh, interesting. So we got our 3 choices. There we go. And then we go to... Okay. So, but yeah, what's more is, like, the video games in, you have to remember that the video games in PlayStation 1 were still, like, a shit ton of amount of work. And even after they were done, it was, you know, we were still, like, we are not good consumers. Like, just forewarning there, alright? We don't really do we're not really good moderators in, like, you know, trying to keep ourselves from, like, you know, demanding things. Oh, let's go for you. There we go. We're fickle bitches. Alrighty, there we go. Alright, so we're missing a bot. Knowing our luck, they are back on this thing. Or an approximation of this thing. Oh, nope, there they are. Interesting. Didn't know they were there. Independent mutant. Oh, wait, hang on. So these aren't, it's not Hunk or anything like that. It's, like the people from Killzone. Weird, okay. Oh, look at that! Ooh. That's kind of funny. That's silly. I love it. Very silly thing. Alright, dink. Ah, okay, I see what they want us to do. Bam. There we go. And a third one of those, Killzone, peeps. Did it! Score! Alrighty. I know what you mean. Buyers lead the market, and the market says more generic stuff, same game, different skins. Best example is PS5 Pro. The mid-gen is not necessary in the generation it came, because many consumers wanted it since PS5 were announced, and the price is not random exact. Paid for 2 years on eBay after release for the standard PS5. Yes, so you are correct on that one, where, like, it's a lot of shrewd business choices that have led to, like, the habits of PlayStation. I will be real with you, they are not doing it very good on the wins. They tried, because Sony is, like, very much heavy into the, you know, ever since Uncharted 2, they've moved away from, like, mascot platformers and trying to do, like, diverse sort of games. They figured out their niche was to do single-player cinematic sort of experiences. They knew that from Uncharted 2 because of the success of Uncharted 1, and then the critical success of Uncharted 2, both commercially and critically. From there, it was off to the races. They did their stuff with God of War, with The Last of Us, with more of the Uncharted series. Days Gone is another one as well that hits in that little realm. Infamous Second Son kind of hits into that while leading upon, like, the Infamous franchise. Like, and then they tried to move away from that because, you know, they're a business. They want more money. And as Valve and EA and EB Game, or sorry, not EB, as Valve and Epic Games have demonstrated, there is money to be made in a long service title that is able to retain people's attention and what have you. All that sounds like very you know, fine and dandy for a businessman to be like, yes, exactly, we will go for this. But here comes the problem. You are now competing against, you know, existing games, and now sure, the quote-unquote monopoly isn't like the classic one that we got like back when big oil was a monopoly or something like that. It's more like a monopoly in terms of like the internet, where sure, people are likely to be on like 2 or 3 platforms that serve technically the same purpose. You will have people on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, or, you know, Facebook, Blue Sky, and Threads, as it's called, and what have you. So they thought that, oh, it's fine that there's already existing, like, you know, games as a service games out there with, you know, for example, Destiny, Fortnite, and League of Legends, to name a few, or even like the hero shooter stuff, like, you know, facing off against Overwatch, Team Fortress 2, and Deadlock in the most recent one. But the thing is that as has been demonstrated, like the difference between Deadlock and Concord is that you have to be mechanically good. That is the barest minimum. But you also have to be able to incentivize people socially to buy into your game. And it's very difficult trying to, you know, encourage people to play in your, you know, online battle arena shooter for $40 when there's already an existing product for free that you've already invested skins and cosmetics and all this kind of such into. If you're spending $40, it better be a fucking, like, you know, either never mechanically seen it before and has actually garnered people's attention, or you're, you know, being like, you know, very insightful with, like, giving people, like, enough lore, like, at the get-go, so that even the people that are, like, you know, Dark Souls kind of thirsty for narrative and such are able to dig and find stuff. So, oh, so hi there, Sage. Welcome to the stream. So, it's not... So yeah, we're not in a perfect point, and I think a lot of us are frustrated with how a lot of the brands, a lot of the developers that we may have, like, leaned upon for, you know, good quality games that are, like, you know, like first-person experiences with maybe some multiplayer in there, but the multiplayer was sort of like an added benefit. It wasn't like a requirement unless you were playing, like, you know, online shooters or FIFA, for instance. Oh my god. There we go. My thing is nearly broken. Ah! Yeah, that thing broke. Yeah, I'm doing alright, Sage. Thank you very much. I was just getting... Like, I was getting myself stuck in the conversation about, like, game development and what have you. Like, or, you know, where we're at with, games and such. So, because, you know, like, as a consumer of games, like, I have to be mindful of what I'm buying into and what I'm playing into. So, there we go. Gifted Soul has a not-so-imaginary friend. Oh, Beyond Two Souls. That's what they're referencing. There we go. And then dunk, and then dunk. Love a good rant. Yeah, exactly, so... And I forgot to jump. So yeah, so... I know there's like a number of, like, I know there's a number of people that are like, oh, why don't we just do what indie games do, which is, like, you know, just have way smaller teams, way smaller budget, and, like, create, you know, like, you know, personal project games and what have you. That might sound in theory, but, like, you have, once more, video games are now a business. Like, much like with movies, how, yes, you can have, like indie projects and what have you, and maybe they'll end up in, like, a cinema or something if they're really good, but you have to... There's all kinds of costs that are coming into it, and you actually have to, like, honestly, you know, do your market research and make worthwhile returns. Because, you know, it's fine and dandy to be like, oh, I'm an indie dev. I'll just, like, make my games in my free time and such. But people have made their livelihoods in these games now. They very much are, like, working in a company with, like, you know, well over 20 people and more than just developers. They will have, like, people in finance, HR, marketing, and like, you know, business intelligence or data analytics. Like, it's not enough that you just, you know, leave the artist to be artistic. It's like, no, you've got to, like, you know, figure out your balance of encouraging them. But, ow. I think a big fail is needing to get back to the roots, so I don't see Concord as a fail as a whole thing. It showed that you can't just copy and paste everything on the to get the money. Yeah. There's been a lot of commentary of it being like sort of a ChatGPT game and such like that. I remember hearing of interviews where ooh, there we go. I remember like seeing interviews where, you know, you had a lot of like strong like people in the production and such like that, but a lot of people were kind of only in their little igloos in isolation of like they know what they want and such, and it didn't really play into a grander vision. It was just you do your thing. There wasn't like a person leading the charge of like, you know, something of actual artistry behind it and such. So you had like really strong mechanics of like, you know, gun to gun. You had, you know, hit or miss on the characters with not much synergy. I remember talking about like the characters and what have you, because like some of them were like kind of phoned in, and then others were like, I feel like you put like put a decent amount of work in, but your roster is the sum of your parts, not your roster has to be greater than the sum of your parts. So, and certain games pleasantly can't be run by a wall company anymore. Imagine creating something like Elder Scrolls with just 5 people. It'd take years and years. Yeah, exactly. And what's more is, EA and Sony have definitely played, and the most recent, like, Activision Blizzard have definitely played into this. As consumers, we will most certainly buy into a franchise because it's a franchise. We get a large number of people buying into FIFA because it's FIFA, or, you know, into Call of Duty and what have you. There might be better first-person shooters or better soccer games, but we will want to go into FIFA. That's why it was actually a risky move from EA to be like, nah, fuck that nonsense with FIFA. FIFA was like, fine, we'll make our own game, and EA's like, all right, good luck with that. Our next game is going to come out in 6 months, and we don't have to deal with your licensing bullshit. And so they came up with and so their game was called FC Club, and they just had to cut out a lot of the IP that was under FIFA. Not everyone can do that. Like, I know some people are like, oh, but what about, what's the Spacer's Choice, or whatever the fuck it's called? Hang on a second. Ding. Don't. There we go. Not Outer Wilds, Space Wild or something? Oh, hey, it's, Bridges. He's got his little baby thing. So, like, that was made by a team of people who already had experience making it, and, like, don't be illusioned. They're a big studio with a lot backing onto them. Like, they're going through Avowed right now, which, I'm gonna be real with you, like, playing their Spacer game, I was a bit iffy on it, mechanically speaking. But, you know, if they can somehow stick the landing with Avowed, maybe? Because I remember having, like, a little... Damn it. I need to be mindful of these guys. Ding. Alright, so these ones I have to... like, jump over them. Oh yeah, look at Pokemon, the most expensive franchise. Yeah, okay. Pokemon, remember this. Pokemon is huge not only in video games, but in what's-a-mahoozy, in like toys, in marketing. Like, Pokemon is way bigger than just their video games. They are fucking huge. because of, like, you know, books and... ow, fuck you. Because of books, plushies, collectibles. They have a TCG card game. They have a lot. So, they're not just video games. They got all kinds of other shit. Oh, hey, something down here? Yes, there is. Okay, so I need the boomer. I need the booms. Don't forget about anime. That too as well. Like, this is the thing that I think, like, is kind of myth. Like, because here's the thing. A gaming company, like a big one, can do that. Dragon Age is a big franchise. Not because, you know, they did Inquisition and Origin, some of the, like, biggest in name for whatsamahoozy, for, blah, 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 for RPGs, thanks to BioWare during the earlier years. They are huge because they also have books. They have a TV show. They have... Oh, I see what they want me to do. Fuck you. Do I have to do all that again? Yes, I do. Alrighty, here we go. Ah! Okay, so I need to be mindful of once I do that break. Alright, cool. Alright, here we go, here we go, here we go. There we go. I am the android. My name is Connor. I am the android sent by CyberLife. There we go. Alright, how do I get out of here? Oh, the bird. Thank goodness for the bird. Yeah, but these video games feel like something else. Someone tries his first game ever, but it's actually the 9th or 10th generation. Yeah! So... Okay, but... Oh, wait, you're talking about the Pokemon thing. You're on about Pokemon. Yep, sorry. That was... Ow. They had issues. Second generation was not positive for Game Freaks to code with, without help of externals of Nintendo. Yeah. Oh, okay, okay. So what I'm gonna do. 1, 2, 3. And then... Whee! There we go. Fuck you. You're mainly talking about... Yeah, but they got to 3D. There we go. Bucket and robot. There we go. Almost got all the robots at this point, thankfully. Okay, thank goodness he's not a dead thing. Are you kidding me? Come on. There we go. There we go. What's the second... What was the second bot from this level? Just a normal... So, the first name one was like someone from... Whatsamahoozy, Beyond Two Souls. And then they did Sam Bridges from... Whatsamahoozy from Death Stranding. And then the last... And the most recent one was, Connor, the android from CyberLife. Alrighty. What is the play here? Oh, I see the play. Oh, hello. Did not realize... Wow. They probably would have issues in the first and second game that was on them, but to my knowledge, the other 2Ds were well executed. Yeah. Here's the thing as well, is that, like, it's Game Freak. They're the ones that are going to be making the Pokemon games, and we get close, but no one has, like, I hate to break it to you, but, like, we make Pokemon-like. We have, like, Digimon is probably the closest, and it does something completely different with, like, their mascots and what have you, but that's the only one I know of. Yokai Watch is possibly another one, but, you know, no one outside of Japan cares for Yokai Watch. Pokemon is an international thing. Like, I think, like, just to put into context, it's, like, billions. Like, the only thing that gets close to Pokemon is, like, Hello Kitty at number 2, and then Magic the Gathering is, like, 20. Oh, hello. I can make you bigger? Interesting. Alright, so what's the advantage of making you bigger? Oh, I see. And then... Wait, hang on. There we go. There we go. Ah! Hey, it's another, secret thingy-majiggies. Nice. Alright. I'll get to you later. I need to get a robot. Wait, did I get all the robots? No, I'm missing one robot. Okay. Where's the missing robot? Well, at least I know how to get to that one. Oh, there we go. There's the last one. Got him. Not the snowman. Yes, the snowman. We destroyed him. Do you remember how a while ago people were fighting over those Hobby Lobby Hello Kitty blankets and mugs? I didn't know about that one, but that doesn't surprise me, I'm gonna be real with you. So, because yeah, Hello Kitty is huge. I'll need to get, like, a list, like, because the biggest franchises, like, you know, toy and game-wise, like, Pokemon's up there, then it's Hello Kitty. It's, like, a lot of brands that are, like, oh, they're very much, like, it's an iconography follow, rather than just, you know, oh, they make good video games. Because if all you do is make good video games, then it's, like, you know, that's all you got, and it's, you know... Sure, there's some good in that, but... Hello? Come on, stop. Disperse. There we go. Alrighty, so that does X. So yeah. It's almost 9:30. I have work the next day, so... I am going to call it here, actually. You evil barcode, he had a family, he had nothing! Unfortunately not. Every generation had frame problems, even if they copy and paste what was done in... For example, in 4th generation GTS starts, you could upload a Pokemon with standard German name because it included the German word for... But you could upload obvious cheats, like a Charizard in level 1. Every generation had game-breaking bugs, like the Rotten Egg, originally an anti-cheat system, which also came in-game with any image, and so... okay. Yeah. And once it... But yeah, like, here's the thing. Munch, Sage, just to like, put a hamper on, like, further discussion about Pokemon. Cookie for Vol. The video game barely matters. It is way too big. If people aren't interested in the video game, they're interested in the Pokemon, which means you're interested in the plushies, the comics, the anime, the confectionery, the clothes. There is so much of Pokemon you could be interested in and such like that. I want you to think about the people that are fans of Harry Potter and how much of them have got more than just the books. That's the power of a franchise, is when you're able to have them absorb content that isn't their primary contact. Marvel is a comic book company, and they have shit tons of movies and TV shows and all kinds of merchandise. It's the same sort of thing there. You can have whatever arguments you can have about the Marvel Cinematic Universe or maybe some of their comics during the later years because of always just rebooting Spider-Man to always be some high school thing. But Pokemon, yeah, no, so also, Munch, be advised, some people, yes, they understand like the problems of Pokemon and like it's not a perfect game and they might, you know, have the rose-tinted sunglasses, but sometimes that's by choice. I know that Dragon Age isn't for everyone, but I still love it. I know Halo Infinite has not been what people wanted from the Halo franchise and they're wondering why 343 Industries still has the franchise under them. But I still thought Halo Infinite was a fun game. So long as we recognize the faults and are willing to try new things, you can't fault people for still enjoying the familial. People really underestimate the power of merchandising. Yeah, it's fucking huge. Video games don't do merchandising very well, amazingly enough, because, you know, God of War is an amazing video game series, and much like Warhammer, it's very surface level to say that, oh, the interest of God of War is you are a big, beefy man destroying things. It's like, yes, but there's more to it. Anywhoosies, I can't keep ranting. If I keep ranting, I'm gonna stay awake for too long and what have you, and it'll be absolutely terrible. I need to go. Also, screw you, bug. All right. I also mean there's still issues and everything is, but bugless in every game. Sure, there's a bad egg, but it's not like it influences the unless you specifically go after. Yeah. All right. Let's have a little look and see who is online and who we can go and raid. Let's see. Okay, so it's recommending to me some British girl that's playing through Dawn Trail. The feat of... It looks like they're at the feet of Reed, so they're still a ways back. They're at the top of my list, weirdly enough. No idea why they say it's for me. But... you know what? Fuck it. Oh, thank you for the follow, Munch. I really appreciate it. I'll be back online Friday night. Friday night, I will be going through more Dragon Age the Veilguard, because I personally like it. And I'm starting to notice that some TikToks in my feed are going to start doing, like, spoilers over, like, you know, more of the content of Dragon Age the Veilguard. One of the things they're talking about, I remember, was, like, a huge theory back in Inquisition times before they released Veilguard. So I'm a little disappointed that it's going to, like, whatever, like, the thing that's going to happen in the game, I'm already going to have a bit of awareness of, and it's not going to be, like, a shocker for me. Hopefully it will be a shocker for you guys when I play more of it on Friday. Don't get me wrong, I am just afraid you will find and unalive me. You'll be fine. You will be fine. Just, thanks for the grant. Sorry I wasn't there for long, but I'm glad I was able to be part of the conversation. I want to go back to 2D. So long as the two of you are doing okay, and you're not gonna, like, you know, pull pitchforks and stab each other, I think we're gonna be good. Now, we are gonna go with a raid message. Now, the raid message we're gonna go for is Himbo. We're gonna go for the longer raid message. We're gonna go Himbo raid. Show us your cutest guys, gals, and non-binary pals, or prepare to get swole. I don't want to do the if you don't have the gun emote, you're welcome to use whatever other kinds of emote you want with the Himbo raid message. But yeah, I will be back online Friday night. There isn't going to be a stream on the weekend because A, I'm on call, and B, I actually have to work the Saturday shift, which is a little bit unfortunate, so Friday will be the last time you'll be able to see me stream this week. I'll have to come up with a schedule for next week. Hopefully I'll have more, days of that week I'll be able to stream since I won't be on call after Monday night. But yeah, otherwise, thank you everyone who came along to tonight's stream. I greatly appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are. We're gonna go raid into this random British woman playing Final Fantasy XIV, and hopefully I'll see you on Friday night, and if I don't see you Friday night, I'll see you all next time. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Bye.